Houston, you receive the notification you've been waiting for. The paycheck hits your account. For a few seconds, everything feels fine. The stress eases, the number looks bigger than it did yesterday. You tell yourself you'll be responsible this time. But here's the problem. From the moment that money lands, a countdown starts. You don't have weeks, you don't have unlimited willpower, you have a small window before that money quietly starts leaking out of your account. Not through one big mistake, through normal behavior. People think money problems are loud. They're not, they're quiet. Money isn't lost by spending it badly, it's lost by never deciding what to do with it early. Think of your paycheck like ice outside a freezer. It doesn't disappear all at once. It just slowly melts into nothing while you're not looking. This isn't about being cheap. It's about control. Because if you don't tell your money where to go in the first 24 hours, it will leave on its own. And most people never even notice when it happens. Hour 0 to 1, the money lands. The first hour after you get paid is the most dangerous one, not because you're reckless, because your brain is relaxed. You see the balance, you feel temporary relief, and relief lowers resistance. This is when most people make their first mistake. They celebrate mentally, they browse, they scroll, they open Amazon, DoorDash, or their favorite app without buying anything yet. They tell themselves they're just looking. Looking is enough. The moment you start imagining purchases, your brain already spent the money emotionally. The transaction just hasn't caught up yet. Your paycheck usually arrives when you're already tired. You've been making decisions all day. Your mental energy is low. When decision fatigue sets in, your brain starts looking for shortcuts. Rewards feel logical. Small purchases feel harmless. Checking the balance feels responsible. But the moment you look at that number and think about what you could do with it, you've started a negotiation. Your brain begins building a case for why spending makes sense right now. So, rule number 1 in the first hour is simple. Do nothing that involves spending. Don't celebrate with purchases. Don't just check prices. Don't plan upgrades. Don't reward yourself yet. Not because spending is bad, because timing matters. In this first hour, your job is not action. Your job is containment. If money doesn't get direction immediately, it starts attracting ideas. Hour 1 to 6, pay yourself first. Once the money has landed and you've resisted the urge to touch it, you move to the most important step. You pay yourself first. Before bills, before lifestyle, before anyone else gets paid, you move money out of reach. Emergency fund first, even if it's small, even if it feels slow. This isn't about the amount, it's about priority. Then savings or investments, a Roth IRA, a brokerage account, a 401k contribution if it's not already automatic. According to the Federal Reserve, more than a third of Americans cannot cover a $400 emergency with cash or savings. Research shows that people who automate their savings are significantly more likely to actually save than people who intend to save manually. Because intention without immediate action is just a wish. Delay doesn't mean you'll save later. Delay means you won't save at all. When you pay yourself first, you're not just moving money, you're reducing mental noise. Invisible money doesn't tempt you. Money you can see and access every day does. The psychological benefit of moving money immediately is that it stops being part of your mental negotiation. It's simply gone, and gone is safer than accessible. This isn't exciting. There's no dopamine hit, no feeling of reward. That's why it works. Money moved early doesn't get debated later. Hour 6 to 12, bills and obligations. Now you reduce future anxiety. Bills aren't just expenses, they're mental weight. Rent, utilities, insurance, minimum debt payments, anything that creates background stress if it's not handled. When these stay unpaid, your brain stays occupied. When they're handled early, your brain gets quieter. Unpaid bills create background stress that runs constantly. Every time you consider spending money on something else, part of your brain is calculating whether you'll still have enough left over. Every notification triggers a small spike of anxiety. This isn't dramatic stress, it's low level and persistent. But persistent stress drains you. When you pay bills early, you're not just moving money, you're buying silence. You're removing unfinished business from your mental load. Unfinished decisions consume future decision power. When you leave bills pending, you're forcing yourself to carry that decision forward. Each day requires willpower to remember, to prioritize, to execute. That's exhausting. By hour 12, your goal is simple. The important obligations are handled, the future is quieter, the risk is lower, you're not richer yet, but you're safer. Hour 12 to 18, containment. Now comes the part almost nobody talks about. What happens to the money that's left? Money left sitting in checking with no rules feels available. It invites upgrades, subscriptions, small, harmless spending. The remaining money needs limits, clear boundaries, a job. Some goes to guilt-free spending, some stays for variable expenses, some stays untouched until the next paycheck. When money has no role, it gets used emotionally. When it has a role, decisions get easier. Active control is exhausting. Passive containment is effective. Active control means constantly monitoring your spending, checking your balance multiple times a day, debating every purchase. It works for a while. Then it stops working because you get tired. Containment is different. You make the decision once and the structure enforces it automatically. Think of it like a safe with a time delay. Money in a high yield savings account is contained. Money transferred to investments is contained. You're not relying on discipline, you're relying on design. The money has walls, not just rules. This is also where silence matters. You don't announce progress. You don't explain your system. You don't justify boundaries. Money behaves better when it's private. Hour 18 to 24, stepping away. After 18 hours, your work is mostly done, but there's one more step that matters. You stop looking. This sounds simple. It's not. Most people finish setting up their system and then immediately check it. They refresh their accounts, they verify the transfers, they look at balances, they calculate what's left. They monitor progress, and monitoring feels productive, it feels responsible, but it's not. Checking your money too often is anxiety pretending to be control. Good systems don't require constant verification. They run on their own. The money you moved is where you moved it. The bills you paid are paid. The structure you built is working. Looking at it again doesn't improve it. It just creates opportunities to second guess yourself, to wonder if you moved too much, to debate whether you should move some back, to open the door to the very decisions you were trying to avoid. This is where most people fail. Not because their system is bad, because they won't let the system work without interference. And every decision is another chance to make a mistake. The goal is to decide once and execute forever. Build the system, trust the system, let it run. Let's talk about what happens if you don't act in the first 24 hours. The money just sits there, available, accessible, waiting, and slowly, quietly, it starts to leave. You get paid on Friday. You tell yourself you'll handle it over the weekend. The weekend comes, you're busy. Monday arrives, you're at work. You'll handle it tonight. Tonight comes, you're exhausted. Tomorrow turns into next week. Next week turns into never. Meanwhile, the money is disappearing. A subscription renews. You order food. You see something on sale. None of these purchases feel significant, but together they consume what you never protected. By the time the next paycheck arrives, you can't explain where the last one went. Why this works? This system works because it doesn't rely on you being perfect. It relies on you being early. The first 24 hours matter more than the next 30 days because once the structure is in place, the hard work is done. You're not fighting temptation every day. You're not making 100 small decisions. You made a few big decisions early, and the system handles the rest. This isn't discipline, it's design. Discipline assumes you'll always have the willpower to do the right thing. Design assumes you won't. Most people don't lose money because they're irresponsible. They lose it because they never contained it early. The first 24 hours decide everything. After that, money behaves the way you trained it to. If you enjoyed this video, click the one on your screen. It's the one I recommend for you. Do the boring stuff. It works.